you're also an organization that plays along the game of corporate social media because everyone does it. So when Twitter went downhill, we really asked ourselves, why are we actually still here? Um, and we didn't have a proper answer to that.
That should be Babette. Okay, let's try this again. Welcome, Fetty friends, to episode 86 of Fireside Fetty. I'm your host, Ozone. Fireside Fetty is a show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're hearing this, you are the Fediverse. With me today, and she's gonna have to help me a little bit to make sure I get it. Babette Nauer? Knauer. Okay,
Yes,
so Babette Knauer, pronounced in a very German way. Okay. That is, yeah, no, and it's funny because you look at it, and in English, I'm like, Knauer. Knauer. Okay,
yeah,
sure. Except for the fact that K and N, knife. No, it's Nauer.
exactly.
Language, you gotta love it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you gotta love it. Indeed.
Anyway, and it helps. It's awesome because I'm trying to teach my kids how to read, and it's like there are every single other word is an exception to all the rules, and it's awful. But
Yeah, that's the nice thing about language and grammar, right? Isn't it?
constantly changing too. Never
Yeah.
ends. It evolves. It's amazing. Uh, Babette is head of communications at the and I'll say this: I pulled this from the public spaces um, um, banner information about you. I hope that's okay. Uh, but Babette is the head of communications at the University of, and I'm going to get this one wrong, but I'm going to try. Groningen?
Groningen.
Groningen.
Groningen, but you can also say Groningen. Everyone says Groningen.
Groningen Library.
Officially, it's Groningen. Yeah, library. Yes, indeed.
Okay. She says she successfully led the library's transition from X to Mastodon 23, making bibliothecarsis at social.edu one of the largest institutional academic accounts in the Netherlands. Nauer advocates for open knowledge sharing and community centered communications. Her interests focus on the role of mass communication instruments in shaping the public. And Babette, thank you so much for joining me. I'm very excited to talk to you because I don't where were we that we met? Ready
I
Forum
think we met
Connect?
at I think we met at the Fedi Forum Unconference
Okay.
in one of the break sessions
Yeah.
that you
And
joined. Yeah.
just listening to Babette, like I feel like that description doesn't do you justice because you are uh you look like a very calm storm that's ready to rip the roofs off of all the houses. You seem very passionate. I even mentioned that like
Let's put
you're
on a lot of pressure for this conversation now, really.
no, but you seem very you feel that this is
Collected.
very important, right? Like you're very passionate about this. And um so before we start though, how did you get to this step? How did you get to where you're at today? Lead us up to where you're at.
Okay, how did I get there where I'm at? So I'm here in the Netherlands, and how I got there is basically through a lot of moving around, like moving places. So I was born in Germany, in the east of Germany, roughly around 1.5 hours southwest of Berlin. And I studied there. I went to high school there, studied there. I studied communication and translation studies. And halfway my study, I discovered that this is actually not a profession that I want to take up. So I don't want to be a translator. Basically, just transferring other people's texts from language one to language B.
Yeah.
Um, but I basically I graduated in that course, and then I moved to Frankfurt to take on an internship And I finished that internship also in translation business, and that confirmed my earlier suspicion that this is not a profession that I wanted to take up. And then I applied for my first job. And that first job was at a research institute, a government funded research institute. There are lots of them. They are part of a huge research organization in Germany that is publicly funded, that does fundamental research. And all of those different institutes have specific topics that they do research on, like fundamental research. And the one where I applied was called the Max Planck Institute for Polymer Research. And not sure if anyone knows what polymer research is. So
Holy
polymers,
yes.
so polymers are, so polymer is basically Greek, and Greek means many, and meros means part. So it's basically a polymer is, I cannot imagine. Okay, I'm going through. It's crazy that I'm talking about this.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Keep going. Yeah,
So,
this is amazing.
so polymers are basically large molecules made of, how can I say this, smaller repeating units. And they basically form a large chain. So if you think of,
Yep.
for example, what did we always use as an example? As a paperclip chain. So you've got a paperclip chain, and each individual clip is a monomer, and then the whole chain is a polymer.
Yeah.
And how you encounter polymers is basically like in a synthetic way. So that could be plastic, for example. So everything that
Most
is made of
common.
plastic,
People know.
either
Yeah.
polyester,
Yeah.
or in a natural way, like, for example, DNA is also a polymer.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah.
or cellulose. Do you pronounce it cellulose? So never mind. So in this job, I learned more about chemistry than I guess in high school. So while I worked there,
Yeah.
and so the job that I got there was, and that was the early 2000s, that they asked me to become their communications person. I initially applied for a different job, and then they asked me, "Can you do communications?" And I said, "Yes, I can write texts, I guess." Their entire communication was bilingual, so German and English, and I said, "I'm happy to do that." And so I was basically, and that was a fun situation to be in, the only person in this entire institute, I believe, with a humanities background. So all of the other people working there had a technical background, were chemists, were physicists. And I obviously wasn't a chemist or a physicist. So what we basically did is that those researchers had to tell me what their research was about so that I would be able to
Yeah.
understand it and write a proper text about it, like press releases and these sort of things, which was super interesting because you really learn a lot. And you can also um, sort of, I don't want to say teach because this feels very, very patronizing, but you can like give researchers some sort of lens in how is this being perceived by people who are
Yep.
not in the topic. Um, so yeah, that's basically that's what I did, and like organizing a lot of like outreach activities, open days, public lectures, these sort of things. Any questions so far? Otherwise, I'll just
No.
go on.
No. This is
So,
that's amazing. I mean, I would think close like we in the IT we have technical writers because
mhm,
engineers speak an engineer
exactly.
language and they need
Yeah,
people to kind of
exactly.
translate. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, this is
exactly,
amazing.
exactly. That's initially what my study was about. So that was indeed technical communication. The official name was technical communication and translation studies. So really being able to produce texts in different languages that would help other people to make sense of what engineers have thought of, for
Yeah.
example.
Yep.
Um, and well, I mean, I had this communication background, but I didn't have like a PR background. So I was wondering like how can I get more knowledge in that area of public relations and how to deal with the media because my background was still in communications. So I took a lot of PR trainings, and one thing that I noticed was that a lot of those trainings have been, I mean, there has been a lot of development. Again, we're talking about the early 2000s here, um,
Hmm?
have been back then rooted in a commercial idea,
Yep.
like how to sell your texts to the media.
Yep.
And that always gave me a bit of a stomach ache because I felt I'm doing this for a public organization. I couldn't pinpoint. I don't know.
It feels
Back then, I couldn't
dirty.
put my finger on it. Back then,
Yeah.
it just gave me a strange feeling. And uh, um, again, I mean, looking at it now, it's totally clear what was nagging me about these trainings, but it was all about like KPIs and how much worth is being mentioned in the media as an equivalent
Yeah.
to to an ad that you would post, for example. So how much worth is your press release? I don't know, these sort of discussions. And then I decided I need more like theoretical background in all of those topics. And I enrolled at the University of Leicester by distance learning for a 2-year course in mass communications. So that was a training or really a master's a course on um, media industries, how media shape identities, political communications, these sort of things. And that was a total eye opener for me. So, what I sort of encountered in practice, I was really grateful to be able to take this course, this master's course, and get all of the theoretical bases that I still benefit from, like all of those discussions on I don't know, the commercialization of the public sphere and
Yeah.
how are people being or how are that's what I find the most interesting, how our identity is being shaped by mass communication instruments, for example, by media.
Okay.
And yeah, so that, and then I moved again to another research institute, and that was totally different. That was in political science and international relations. That was the Peace Research Institute in Frankfurt. And that's also a public research institute, but they combined fundamental research with practical advice. So there was a lot of outreach. I was again responsible for communications at that institute. A lot of outreach, but also a lot of media relations because, like journalists would call us. And ask for an expert opinion on a specific international crisis, for example. And then those researchers, I would connect them to the researchers, and the researchers would give their opinion, and they would annually publish the Peace Report. That is a huge book on the current status of peace and war and peace, basically, in the world, with a specific focus. And advise governments and foundations. And then life took me to the Netherlands at one point, where I'm now having this job at the university library.
And
That's
sorry, go ahead. You want to keep going on with that?
no. That's how I got here. That's basically to conclude your question.
That's amazing. Did you ever for once like doubt yourself in all of these different Of course not.
Yes, yes, and when you read this public spaces introduction, I thought, my God, this sounds really, and I'm not fishing for anything here, but this sounds so pretentious.
No.
So, and
It's
yes, I'm doubting myself a lot, and yeah, I
it's
don't think it's a negative thing. I guess I don't think it's a bad thing.
no, but
To
it's funny that you say that because it's funny the way that you were saying that kind of stuff in that in the early 2000s, the way that you had to market these things was like corporate, to bring in money and things like that, and you felt dirty. I literally was on
No,
LinkedIn.
no, let me
Oh yeah.
quickly let me just very it wasn't that I was asked to market.
No, no,
It
no.
was
It
more
was
of trainings that I took because
yes,
you
right. Sorry.
wanted to get professional training in PR. That all of those training were basically framed to market your content,
Right.
because they were coming from a corporate perspective. It wasn't that I was asked to market the content in a corporate way.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
really important.
No, yeah. Okay, right. So I apologize for that. Thank you for correcting
So no,
me. But it's funny because I was on LinkedIn literally yesterday, and I'm just looking at this and the way that people talk to each other. It is all that kind of thing that we see now. And I just put a post out there like, why do people use this? Because it's kind of a joke that we know that nothing is real here, but yet everyone is trying to sell themselves like it is, right? And it just
yeah.
baffles my mind because that's and it doesn't have to exist like that, and we're seeing that. But before we get to that, so you bring an incredible amount of experience not only to your library but again to the Fediverse, because you have all this information, all of this training as to um how all these different markets essentially play together, international politics, I think you said at one point, and science.
Yeah.
And so how did you so how long have you been at the library?
I've been at the library for almost exactly 11 years now. I've never been anywhere
Wow.
that long before. So
Okay.
yeah, 11 years, yeah.
So you did all of that before that. Oh my goodness. um Incredible. So when did you find like the Fediverse, and how did that play out?
Um, I found the Fediverse, I guess, as the majority of people in late 2022.
Okay.
Um, I mean, before that, I've been interested in privacy stuff and all these sorts of things, but I've never been really active. I straight away have to admit that. So I was really one of those people
Yep.
who entered the Fediverse in during this Musk takes on Twitter wave, when people were questioning, like, is this what we want to do? And I mean, what I really find interesting is, and that's of course part of my job here at the library, also, is to also keep an eye on academic discourse in those things. And I mean, what we've seen before is that a lot of academics were really struggling on Twitter when Twitter went basically downhill. There was a lot of we've also seen this during COVID. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of misinformation, a lot of distrust. Also, Twitter became a really unsafe space for research. And there were articles published about this, and what are we going to do about it? And then Mastodon emerged, and I thought, why not give it a go as an organization? Because this is what we stand for as a university library. We stand for trustworthy information provision. We've had quite a history in developing open access publishing and supporting researchers and publishing open access. I can tell more about that if you're interested later on. And open science in general. So how can we, as the academic sector, basically publicly share the research results that are being produced here by public money? So that is one of the core tasks of us as a university library. And what we saw, and up until then, we've always played along. I mean, just like you say, now you go to LinkedIn and you just know everything is sort of fake, but you're still on there. I'm
Yeah.
still on there. Um, you're also an organization that plays along the game of corporate social media because everyone does it. So when Twitter went downhill, we really asked ourselves, why are we actually still here? Um, and we didn't have a proper answer to that. Um, so what we did is basically cross-posted, but made Mastodon like secretly first for us in our approach, and then cross-posted to X at that point to see is there any sort of difference also in engagement, because we would have to convince management as well that we want to take this step and leave X at one point. So I think we cross-posted for about 9 or 10 months, and what we saw is that engagement, and we can later on have this entire region engagement discussion. I'm totally up for that. But that engagement on Mastodon was way higher or better. I don't know what sort of adjective I would even use for that, but that Mastodon was more engaging than
Mm-hmm.
what we experienced on X.
Yeah.
And that basically led us to conclude, like, look, there's no reach, there's no engagement on X. We cannot justify X coming from our organizational values.
Yeah.
And taking all of this together, we should just say, let's stop it. So we approached the International Open Access Week in 2023 that had as a theme community over commercialization. And we thought, oh, this is really a nice moment to
It's
announce that we're going to
perfect.
start.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. So I think it was end of October, 19th of October, something around this in 2023. We posted on X for the last time. This is the last time. Um, Please follow us on Mastodon. And we did the same on Mastodon. And yeah, then, I mean, for us, things sort of not exploded, but I think we got like 900 followers in a weekend. And we were like totally overwhelmed by, my God, this, yeah. For a library, you wouldn't like, people were really interested in the stuff, and that is still so amazing about the Fediverse, that people are really interested in the stuff that we have to say. This is so great.
They're human, right?
I know, and
It's
that's what makes it so
and
great. And this is I think this is to immediately also encourage other fellow communications people. This is something that is so rewarding in this job, because you see not just that people are interested, but this is so rewarding for you as a communications person, that you get to interact with people who are interested in your content, but also that you learn so much from those people. So it's not just you being a passive content producing machine that thinks of what can I publish to please the algorithm, but you can actually do something that is of value, where you know this is, yeah, I don't know,
well, and all of your hard
this is this
work,
is our task. This
all,
is this is really our task.
and all of your hard work is going back into those that are interested, right? We were sold on this idea that algorithms would hook you up with the folks that you are looking for you and matter to you most, when in reality what we saw is no, they are emotion machines. Anything that evokes
Yeah,
an extreme
yeah,
emotion gets the most
yeah.
views.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And
And that is totally the opposite of what we. I mean, that's why we're also. I mean, I'm jumping ahead of things, but the next topic that we also want to tackle is like, how can we engage with students? Because on
yes.
Mastodon we see it's mostly academic staff that
Yep.
we're communicating with. But how can we reach out to students? And we're still on Instagram, and this is really something that we openly want to discuss with everyone who's interested in this topic, also students. Like, how do you consume information? And if we teach them in information literacy,
Yeah.
um, what's our responsibility here to then put our content on a platform that is not very well known for prioritizing accuracy
Yeah. Oh,
over
that's
over emotions?
So Tommy's in the chat, and Tommy says first,
Hello. Hi, Tommy.
Babette, you rock, which I absolutely agree. And then Tommy actually asked a really interesting question. I would love it if you can give your perspective of why surf is not working in the Netherlands because it's top down.
Um,
Yeah, I
surf?
don't.
What surf are we talking about? Are we talking about surf the journalistic thing, or are we talking about surf
That's a good
the
question. I don't even know what that means, but I'll wait for Tommy to get back. But more on the
yeah,
engagement thing, it's interesting because I feel like LinkedIn tries to give you like, yes, we are helping you because here are all your impressions. And when I realized that they had quote unquote impressions on their site, it shows like how many impressions you've had, 33. And I'm just like, that is information that relays no information.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's so shallow that oh,
yeah,
my number goes up, but it means nothing,
yeah.
right? And that's what we want to get away from. We want to actually have real
Exactly.
conversations with people. Um,
Yeah.
so one of the thoughts that I've had, because I think schools need to lead this. Um, oh, Tommy was asking surf.nl why it's not being so successful in account adoption by university students and academics.
That's shall we pack this question? Shall I first get to the reach question, or shall we ask?
How
Shall we get the Tommy question? I don't mind. I don't mind either.
any way you want to do it. This is your show.
Um, yeah, great question, Tommy. I've been asking that myself as well. So maybe for those people who don't know it, SURF is the Dutch ICT cooperative, where all higher education institutions, organizations, research, education have their ICT. So it's a collaboration basically. So they host a lot of the ICT infrastructure of those organizations. And they provide a Mastodon pilot where everyone working in Dutch higher ed and all organizational units can basically get a Mastodon account through single sign on um, as easy as pie. Um, but that's indeed the thing, and that I mean, from an organizational perspective, and also from an individual, I guess this is so great, and I cannot praise them enough. And I'm so happy that they're doing this. Um, I really don't know, Tommy. I don't have an answer for that. I really don't know why the uptake with students is rather low, or I don't know if it's even. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to come up with any sort
Yeah,
of
we don't.
numbers how advantages. I know a couple of researchers use it. Within our university, I think something as 10 other organizational units have adopted it through social.edu.nl, which I'm really happy about.
Well, so
But the
my
individual, I guess, is quite, I really don't know.
the way that and maybe it's different in the US. When I was in college, all those eons ago, as they were building the colleges, the first thing they gave us was an email address.
Mhm.
So if your college had like an internal Mastodon and said, we're not doing emails, here's a Mastodon or whatever, bonfire, open social web account. And here, this will be a introduction on how to use this tool. And by the way, all of your friends have this. You can post pictures with your friends. It's
Yeah.
still college. Let's not be idiots, which college kids are going to be. Um, like, do you think something like that? Because as anyone that's been around the Fediverse long enough, I've been here for about 8 or 9 years now, is we know that it doesn't matter how good the technology is if someone doesn't try it and then brings their friends. It's about
Yeah.
community, right? But
Yeah,
stepping
exactly.
into a higher education, you're having to build up a new community, whereas Instagram has all their old stuff, the people they know and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not in charge of the university's
Yeah,
IT
yeah, yeah.
infrastructure. But this is definitely something that I want to look into. So we're currently working on this roadmap towards digital autonomy here at the university, and Mastodon or the Fediverse, because we're now also we also adopted PeerTube a while back, and I really want
Yes.
to extend it and really put this this discussion again on the table. But again, I'm not pulling the strings here,
Yet.
but it's still up for debate. So I can promise you that.
And it's early days, right? You're dealing with a generation that grew up on Instagram. Right before that, it was Facebook.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly, exactly.
I
Yeah, I mean, this,
literally I literally just had this conversation with my principal of the elementary school yesterday, and we're like, there's so many people. Our parent teacher association is like, we'll put stuff up on Facebook, and like everyone's like, we hate Facebook. Stop, don't. And they're like, well,
yeah,
we have it because 5, 10 years ago, everyone wanted it. And now
yeah.
it's time to move off, it looks like. Um,
I mean, that's a serious discussion, and I think this is also why the discussion is going rather slowly. And this is also the discussion that I want to have about how can we reach a younger generation,
yeah,
either through the Fediverse or through other non-commercial communication systems, because we know that platform churn is so high, and like also coming
yes,
from this not just sustainability option but also like from an efficiency option. Like, how often do you want to play this game in chasing a generation on platforms, because as an organization you keep on building communities on platforms that then become less interesting.
shift. Yep.
So
These are
this is really, I mean, I don't have an answer to that. I mean, this is really what I'd love for us as library to dive into and to discuss with students, with also with researchers. I mean, we haven't even touched upon the mental health issue. Like, how can you responsibly, as an organization that puts in a lot of effort in student well-being, be on that platform? This is really, for us, it's really a thing, and we really want to discuss
holy
this.
shit. Sorry, I swear a lot. I
No,
apologize.
no, no.
um, no, and these are see, I've never even like I understood people move from platform to platform, but I didn't have the words to describe that. Platform churn is a perfect example of that. And you're right. We're building roads only for people to decide we want to take a different road. Okay, well then we build a road there. Now they moved on to the next one. By the time we've built it, people are already shifting off, right? So we need
Yeah,
infrastructure that we can control, that we know will last, and that people can come to.
yeah,
This and the thing
yeah,
that got me so excited about this is we corporations do research into how to market to their people, and unless they can sell that marketing scheme to someone, they'll keep it internal. They don't give it out. Whereas when you do research, that filters out to everyone, right? And that's what the open web is about. That is what open science is about. We should all benefit from this hard work that people have done. Whereas, again, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, they are like, oh, well, this works for us, so we're going to do this. But that
yeah,
only enriches themselves and not society.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I really, I mean,
Amazing.
we've also had this discussion, like, what do you use, like also when you want to make the shift. I mean, this is something that we've been brainstorming in our team about. What do you use if we're still on Instagram? How do we use it for? Do we post exclusive content on there, or do we just use it as a platform to basically refer people to the actual content, which would be on our website, which keeps at least a bit of independence? Um, and I mean, this is also, I think, a valid point for other organizations. I've discussed this at the Fedi Variety conference with people in Amsterdam a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
Um, you also have as public or as research or as education institutions a certain responsibility to open up the content that you post for research. So there are media scholars, for example, who do research on the stuff that is being posted. And if you post this behind uh, a login wall, like who can access?
Yeah.
I mean, also the content that you post is basically a research topic in itself, or for archiving reasons, for example. I don't know if there are any regulations on that, but these are all arguments where I think, yeah, these are really valid. I mean, this is also like what sort of how how is your content and this entire ecosphere accessible for scholars in the future? And it's not if it's on if it's behind login walls.
Well, and that is again such an excellent point. Like Twitter was massive for researchers, right? And that data still exists out there, but now it costs you $10,000 to get an access in order to get in there and harvest
Yeah,
that data. No one's going to justify that. And so that is gone. It exists, but it's locked off from the rest of the world, even though the rest of the world is the one that created it.
yeah.
Wow. Um, Man, this is amazing. I love this conversation. I'm learning so much. So you talked about mental health, and I think that is a very important topic to discuss. As someone that struggled myself, I struggle with anxiety. I'm on meds for it. Like I have to do a lot of
Mhm.
things. There are things that people look at that are like, oh, that's innocuous, that really affect me. Um, so it's a hard topic because every single person views something differently. What have you guys had discussions around mental health around this?
Well, I mean, we do have an extensive program on student well-being at our university, and what we discussed basically is how is this effort in helping students cope with mental health issues, for example, or in us as a library providing them with a quiet, safe space to study, with facilities to support them with um, I don't know, reflection rooms where they can just withdraw themselves if they're, I don't know, if they need a quiet moment for themselves. How does this like physical support as a building? How's this being reflected in us being on Instagram, where they would have to scroll through a lot of content that might harm their mental well-being to get our information?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying that we have an answer because we really want to discuss this. And what I mean, what we've heard from students, and there's no raw data on that at all. It's just been like individual conversations that we were having.
Hmm?
um, they say that they are aware of those things. It's not that they are not aware of those things, but the question is, what is the responsibility for us as a library to support this, or say we're going to move somewhere else, or we find other ways to communicate with you? I
Well,
really want to have this conversation.
and I think and here's in my opinion the impossibility of centralized social media is, well, first off, they're only out for the money. There's been plenty of evidence that these people, have been told you need to take care of kids, don't do this, don't do that. Facebook is under, multiple lawsuits now. And they'll say, yeah, yeah, we're taking care of it. And truth comes out that it doesn't. But even if they were, they are whatever whatever social media, whatever country they are in, they are beholden to that country's laws, right? So in the United States, freedom of speech is a big thing. And while they're actually not held to that because that's a government thing and not a US thing, they try to play towards that, which means they leave up harmful content. But also it benefits them to do it because again, it gets those reactions. Whereas in the EU, you have much stricter laws on
Yeah,
what you can and can't say, right? Um,
yeah.
so do you think, based on that kind of thing, even if we get to the decentralized web, even if it, if all of us like Facebook, Twitter, that's no longer a thing. Everyone has their own account. Do you think we end up in the same place?
Like centralized media, you mean?
As yeah, as toxic and awful and still has harmful content out there. Like, have we talked about how to folks around there, how do you have you talked about, well, we're a college, so we are going to connect out to the broader open social web, but then we all know that there are some very specific servers that are already
Yeah,
very toxic. Like, how do you
yeah.
handle that kind of connectivity?
I don't know. Seriously,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Um, and I mean, we like again us within our team, we were also like, yeah, what's our responsibility here? Like,
Yeah.
we discussed this with our information literacy team. Like, at what point should a younger generation also be informed and educated? And this sounds really patronizing. It's not meant that way.
Mm.
About how things work. Like,
And
who's teaching them that? And is
yeah.
this our role as a university library at one point, or are we already too late because everyone is already using those systems? And if we're not talking about, I don't know, will money be involved?
I mean, I think
Is this
money's
a, is this could this be a crucial question? Like, as soon as money is involved, I don't know.
yeah, I well, and
I don't know. I don't know.
I think in the first Fedi forum that I was in, I think I upset a couple of people because I said in the Fediverse, if the Fediverse, open social web, whatever you want to call it, is going to succeed, there will be money in it. And they're like, well, we don't want any ads. I'm like, guys, there is nothing to stop local sports team from spinning up their own and advertising
Yeah,
themselves. And that is an
yeah,
ad. That is not what my issue is the privacy invasive tracking intrusive ads and the web page that has one sentence ad another sentence ad. But like, there's nothing to stop all these people from advertising themselves, and how this plays out we don't know. And I'm
yeah.
not trying to say you guys have the answer, but and I don't think we're really at that point yet to figure these things out, but like, they're gonna be coming, right? Is At what point is it like, well, the EU has now blocked some third world, or so not third world country, sorry, some just external country from their people because our ideals are completely different. We see it with the internet in general, right? So, and I think it's an interesting question that we'll have to face eventually. Um,
Yeah.
And it's really, really interesting topic. I've been loving all of this, to know the kind of stuff that yourself and other folks are working on. Is uplifting and heartening for me. I was the same way. I was never got into any of these social medias. I'm on more social media now than I've ever been to
Mhm.
advocate for this stuff. Um, but this is the only way. And the platform churn that you talked about and all of that is you're hitting the nail on the head as to all of the problems. Or the thing that I love now, and I just realized this, you remember the days of early web browsers, right?
Yes.
Do you remember all of every single website you went to had install our toolbar? And you
Yes.
I
Sort
would
of.
go
Yeah.
I I would go to my parents' house, and like half of the screen was just toolbars. Like, what are you doing? And they're like, we don't know how to uninstall them. Now, go to a website and you see 50 different icons. We're on
Yeah.
Instagram, follow our Twitter,
Yeah.
follow like, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And it's just
Yeah.
it's we're gonna laugh about it in years. But um
I hope so.
me too. We'll keep trying, you and I, right? And Tommy, and
I, Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is also what we discussed. Maybe the result of this entire discussion will be that we decide that we won't use social media anymore to communicate with students. That's totally up for debate.
Yeah.
That we think of something different, how to reach them within the university.
Hmm. No,
But
and
also outside, also it's not just that. I mean, this is definitely something also that I see that has happened on Mastodon is that the community that we engage with is way bigger than just this university or the city of Groningen or even the Netherlands, which is so cool, which is really so
eh,
cool for us as a university library to see that.
this
Um,
this
so maybe there will
conversation.
also be a community within the student generation who would be interested in yeah, in communicating with us. Yeah, you never know.
Well, and this conversation couldn't exist without it, right? Like I get to talk to so many amazing people around the world, and this is so exciting and fun. And and all it takes is and as we've seen, it seems like the next generation they hook onto a new form of media. All of this is communication.
Yeah,
Uh and communication doesn't go away, but all it takes is for the next person to come along and create the next killer app, and oh yeah, it's on the Fediverse, and it pulls in more people. This is never going away as far as I'm concerned. How people use the tool will be
yeah.
interesting to see. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we move on? Because we're almost at the end of the show and we have a
I
quiz to
know, I
do.
know. No, that's fine. Go ahead.
All right, you ready for the quiz?
Yes, I am.
All right. Now for the real reason I asked Babette here is to give her to win an to is to give her the opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. Our prize today is a lifetime supply of perfectly alphabetized card catalogs.
Oh,
Isn't that
I love it.
exciting?
Yes,
All right.
yes, perfectly alphabetized. Yeah, I'm all in for alphabetized.
Are you ready for the quiz, Babette?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
All right. First question is favorite movie? Mine is Spaceballs, so why is it also Spaceballs? Doesn't have to be, but what is your favorite movie?
Spaceballs.
Is it? See, I
No.
never know if people are being serious with this.
I'm gonna tell you why the Spaceballs.
Yes.
It's not. I have other favorite movies as well.
Okay.
But um, and this is a linguistic thing. We talked about language earlier. So one of the
Mhm.
things, German movies are notorious for being dubbed. So
Yes.
and the dubbing can be hilarious at times, and there's a lot of lost in translation happening.
Yeah.
So one of the first things, without even knowing that this comes from Spaceballs, was a word that was out on the street, and I think that was like the mid 90s, I guess. And that word was called Motor, M umlaut Ö, so like in Motorhead,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Te, and that is basically the name like Mog in like Barf's half man, half dog, and then it's
Yeah.
Motor, half man, half Köter, and Köter is basically the German word for what do you call it in English? Like pooch, like a dog that isn't like
Like a little.
a dog,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Like a purse poodle or something, right? More of a
yeah,
fashion accessory.
yeah, but yeah, yeah, something like this,
Okay.
and so that word was out in the street, and nobody knew where it came from, and everyone was like, "You look like a motor," or something saying like that, and I was like, "What is this? Where's this coming from?" And then at a later moment, and nobody knew that it was Spaceballs where this word was coming from. People just were saying this to each other like for fun,
Nice.
and only at a later moment I encountered Spaceballs and watched first the German version and then the English version, and then the world opened up.
I love that. It's culturally relevant.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, great answer. Next question, and again, I'm going to terribly butcher these. Forum You said this earlier,
Yeah,
and I can't remember. Groningen.
yeah,
That's
Groningen. Yeah,
Groningen. So
yeah,
Forum, Groningen,
yeah,
Prinsentuin, Prince's Garden,
yeah, and
or,
yeah,
and I don't know why I chose this one because this is so long, and this is gonna be terrible. Norderplantsoen?
soon.
Soon?
Forum, always the forum.
Okay, do you want to tell
Um,
us why?
yes, the forum houses the public library. It houses a brilliant kids library. It's sort of when it was built, there was a lot of discussion about the architectural style, whether it fits into the city or not. And personally, I really love it. It's a great building. It's open 7 days a week. There's a cinema in there. There's a really nice roof bar. They have a lot of activities there, like public lectures. It's really
Oh,
a space where the entire city can come together to do whatever they want to do. And that's why
nice.
always Lorem. It's a really lovely building. I like
Excellent.
it.
Okay. Next question. Stroop waffles, puff, puffertillas? I have no idea how to pronounce this.
Can
Poffertjes.
oh, poffertjes.
Poffertillas.
Poffertjes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
These are small, like mini pancakes.
Okay.
Yes,
Or
stroopwafel.
uh oliebollen?
Oliebollen. I'll definitely go for oliebollen.
Oliebollen?
Um,
Okay.
yes, yes. How do I explain that? These are all baked sweets.
Yeah.
Like waffles and then mini pancakes. And these oliebollen, you
Oh my
usually
god, these
get
look
them
delicious.
in the time approaching Christmas or especially New Year's Eve. So you usually eat them at New Year's Eve. Um, and I cannot even describe the dough that it's made of, but they're being fried, and you have a lot of like different versions with raisins in them. For example, I prefer the raisin one, and it's really delicious. You eat them warm with a sugar on them.
Those look amazing. Want some? I do love stroop waffles though. So good.
They are, yes, they are nice, but I prefer if I had have to choose Dolly Bowl.
Tommy says oliebollen are fried balls from heaven. I'll take it. All right. Next question. What does an alternate universe Babette do?
I've always wanted. I mean, the Dutch are really great in DIYing, um, and I think what I've always wanted. I don't know if I've always wanted it, but if there was an alternate universe, I think I'd love for me to have more DIY skills and
Okay.
the patience to be good at it. Because I,
That's
I think
and the
I think like
tenacity.
theoretically, yeah, I
Yeah.
think like theoretically I'd enjoy it, but whenever I'm halfway, like you're halfway and you start a project and then it's like way too late to stop again and it's all a mess, but you lose patience to go on. And
Yeah.
so the ultimate version of me, I think, would enjoy DIYing
Okay.
and have the patience to do that.
That's a great answer. Yeah, I love watching YouTubers build things, but specifically, and I think that a lot of people lose out on this. Whenever you see a DIY project, you see the completion, right? It's over,
Yeah,
it's done. You don't see all the
yeah,
hard work and the retries and stuff like that. So I love watching people and they're like, "Yeah, I tried this and it was a mess and it failed
yeah,
and so I iterated." And it's like it is tenacity. It is sticking
yeah.
with it, seeing it through to its end. And that's really hard because when you fail, it's really easy to just I'm done, walk away, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then it looks like crap, and you put a lot of time in it, and it just doesn't look like what at least not that's the stuff I do. This,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Well, I don't know if you know this, but I have an alternate universe phone here. It changes from week to week. It's a little floss holder this week. It's totally real, by the way. And I reached out to an alternate universe Babette, and it was an interesting conversation because she only speaks in Dewey Decimal codes. So I didn't get a lot out of it, but yeah. She does something. There you go. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I have a lot of these to come up
Great
with.
job. What do you have to do?
I mean, I didn't come up with it. It's totally real. So she's the one that's the
All right.
weirdo.
All right.
Yeah. Um, Next question. Red, white, or blue? And this is not American. The Netherlands flag is also red,
Yeah.
white, and blue. Just putting that out
Uh,
there for everyone.
red, always red.
Why red?
Because it perfectly matches black.
My high school, we had red and black. Red and black is beautiful together. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good call. All right. Very, very succinct answer, too. I love it. All right. Last question, as usual, is going to be sent to Babette telepathically. So Babette, take your time. Let me know when you got it, and then let me know when you have the answer that you want. Okay, you ready? Here it comes. All right. Take your time with that very real, heavy question.
I think I'll take it with milk and sugar and a cookie if you have one.
Really? That's interesting. Why,
Yeah.
why, why milk, sugar, and cookie?
They perfectly go together, I
I
guess.
mean, yeah, as soon as I asked that, I was like, who doesn't like milk, sugar, and cookies?
Right.
Yeah, my t shirt. Believe in yourself, everyone.
Well, yeah, good point.
Oh, and red and black. It is red and black. That's true. That's good.
See, excellent.
All right. Well, congratulations. You got every answer either correct or incorrect. Good job. Uh,
Tough one.
Unfortunate, right? Unfortunately, the surprise, the lifetime supply of perfectly alphabetized card catalogs, they were actually alphabetized, but only by the second letter of each author's father's, brother's, nephew's, cousin's, former roommate's middle name. So unfortunately, it ended up not
That's a
useful.
letdown.
Yeah.
That's a letdown.
Yeah. Sorry. I apologize. But hopefully next time, Babette, I
Yeah.
in all
I'll just go
serious,
down to the basement where we just have a lot of like catalogized,
you can just hang out
cards,
there. Yeah.
alphabetically categorized.
But in all
Luckily, I work
seriousness,
at the library.
thank you so much for joining me. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for all of the
Thank
work that you're
you.
doing.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun. I feel really honored to be invited to the show. I hope everyone could make sense of it.
No, it's
But
great.
I really love to go into discussions, especially about the younger generations things. So if anyone feels up to reaching out to me on Mastodon, I'd very much appreciate that.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. I really love the show, and I watched
Oh,
the
thank
show
you.
with Tommy again, and it was amazing. And I learned so much. Really, I mean, this is really the cool thing about the Fediverse. You learn so much from other people. This is so cool.
Yeah. It's again the only way the best way I could describe the Fediverse anymore is human. It is
Yeah.
humanity. It is finally not an algorithm getting in our way. It is the best, it is the worst of us. It is all of us being able to come together and talk and figure things out. If only we would give each other a moment to listen. We're not all so different, but um yeah, seriously, thank you. And thank you for all the hard work you're doing, and please keep it up. We'll all be out here fighting with you in our own ways, but
Thank you.
and to everyone
Thanks so
else,
much.
yeah, thank you. And everyone else on the Fediverse, thank you all so much. All of you out there that are listening, they're putting your energy into any projects, just putting your energy and putting your pictures out there for other people to share, and putting your ideas out there. Just be welcoming to other people's thoughts and opinions. And remember, there is a person back there. We are not filled with AI bots like a lot of other places. The name behind those people have feelings and emotions, and let's all just try and be empathetic and sympathetic to each other. And thank you guys all so much, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.